Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I'm sharing a little vlog with you. So I thought it would be fun to take you along with me and what a normal day in the life looks like for a reader who's also a homeschool mom and preparing to teach a high school American literature class and just like all kinds of different things that I do in my day-to-day life. So I thought it'd be fun to show you what I read throughout the day, when I read throughout the day, where those pockets of time are. So I usually start my day around 6 in the morning. I make some coffee and then I always turn on an ambient room while I'm reading in the morning because it just kind of sets the scene and it's just nice and cozy. I'll be sure to link the exact channel that I'm watching here because I tend to like ones that are ad-free so that way I don't get interrupted like a million times because it breaks your concentration when you're reading, but I don't have like a YouTube Plus account. So I start out with reading my Bible. Right now I'm reading through the book of Jeremiah. I'm reading through the Bible in a year, so I'm more than halfway through. So on this particular day, I started with Jeremiah chapter 11. Then after that, I have some other options of things that I could read. I tend to like to read either something that I need to read for a buddy read or a book club book or something like that, or I like to read a spiritual nonfiction. So what I decided to read this morning in particular was Rembrandt is in the Wind, which is a Christian nonfiction about how art connects to faith. And then I also had the option to read Claire and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. I didn't get to that this morning. I only read my nonfiction. So after that, I work out every morning. If I found if I don't work out first thing in the morning before I wake my daughter up, then I'm not going to. So I've really been enjoying this Beachbody program that's only 25 minutes long, so it's easy to squeeze it in, and I'm really enjoying it quite a bit. I had a time-lapse video of me working out, and it looks ridiculous because it's so fast, but I decided to leave it in because it cracked me up. Like, this part's funny, but just wait for it. It's just, it just kills me. I love it. So then when I'm getting ready, I was watching YouTube videos. That's usually when I watch them. And then I just went ahead and started our school day. Okay, now it's time for us to do school. So Claire does most of her work independently, but we have a few things we do together. So I'm going to be reading a chapter of Watership Down with her. We are not that far because we've only been reading it for a couple weeks, and we read probably like a chapter a day for school time, and then we alternate between the Shakespeare play we're currently reading, which is Cymbeline, and Beowulf, and today is Beowulf Day. And then also we're reading a little portion every week of How to Read a Book by Mortimer Adler and Charles Van Doren. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Okay, it's a little after 10. We're done with our together school, which we usually start around 9. It was like more like 9:15 today. And I just want to tell you something Claire said about Beowulf. He's talking about how confident he is that he can beat Grendel. We're not very far, like maybe a third, quarter or a third of the way through. And she's like, I hope he dies. He's way too confident. I was like, if he dies, then evil wins and Grendel can continue killing people. And she's like, he's still way too confident. And pride comes before fall, right? Anyways, so now that school is done, for me, Claire still has a bunch of school to do because she has her independent stuff. I have a few things on my to-do list today, but this is a much slower day than normal for me. So this is actually probably a better reading day for me. I don't have anywhere I have to be today. We do have like a plumber coming today, but I don't have, every other day this week I have places to be, which is why I chose this one, because I felt like I could actually talk more about my reading and read more today. So I will probably do some cleaning since I'm actually home today. I'll probably like clean my floors, listen to an audiobook, that kind of stuff, but I might actually have some time to sit down and read as well. So I will share that with you when I get there. So as you can see, I got a few things done. I did like all the floors in my house, and I did a little preparation for our team Bible quizzing program that we're doing on Wednesday nights. So you saw that as well. I also ate lunch, which I didn't show, but yeah, I had some leftover like 4-bean salad, and then my husband made that banana ice cream, which was super good. So what I'm working on now is I have The Pearl by John Steinbeck, which I actually read in May. I didn't have a physical copy then. I had a copy that I got on Libby. So I re-downloaded that so that way I could access my notes, because I'm going to be teaching an American literature class at our homeschool co-op this fall. So it starts in September, and the first month we're doing The Pearl. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go through all of my Kindle notes, and I've already started doing that. But then I can kind of tab what I was interested in when I was reading it, because when I read it in May, it was in the intention of pre-reading it to see if it's something that would work to teach my homeschool group, and I thought it would be. So I'm going to work on that for a little bit while I am drinking my cold brew with cold foam. This is so easy. I didn't say what was in the cold foam, but it's just like this Barista Lovers Planet oat milk, a little bit of maple syrup, and a little bit of vanilla extract, and then I just use a milk frother to get it like so nice and thick and creamy, and it's fabulous. Having a non-dairy cold foam is like the best, because I can't get that in any coffee shop. They always have dairy in their cold foam, so it's fun to make my own. So anyways, while I'm drinking that, I'm gonna work on this, and then this afternoon it's 1 o'clock, by the way. This afternoon I will be working on maybe a little cleaning or decluttering, because I'm trying to, on days that I have time, work on a little deep cleaning or decluttering, just like a little project every day, because it all adds up, and I'm trying to decide what I would want to do today. So I'll show you when I get there. I forgot to mention, I also need to record a vlog clip for my Patreon, because I vlog a book every single month that was recommended by one of them. So this month I read Nathan Coulter by Wendell Berry, and I finished it. And so I need to go through my notes and record my final vlog clip, so that way I can get that edited hopefully tomorrow, and then get it up for them the day after, if all things go according to plan. And sometimes they don't. But yeah, I need to work on that too. So I'll probably work on that after I'm done looking through my Steinbeck notes. Well, I'm sitting out here in the hot, like 90-degree day, but I'm in the shade and it's breezy, so it's not too bad. I just finished my Nathan and Coulter vlog wrap-up clip, which was almost 30 minutes long, and that's not even like the whole vlog. That's just like on the second half of the book. So I'm definitely gonna have to do some paring down. I don't know how it is that I can yammer on so long for a book that's under 200 pages, and yet here we are. I also realized that I didn't talk to you at all about the books that I am reading today, which is fine, because this is not like a regular reading vlog. This is not dedicated specifically to what I'm reading. It's just showing you what kind of an average day in my life is like as a reader. But I did want to talk to you kind of a little bit about what I am reading and what my thoughts on those books are. So you will have noticed that I am listening to the audiobook of Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. I actually started this on Kindle and now I'm listening to it. I actually really don't like the audiobook narrator at all, but I don't have any other audiobooks right now, and I'm in the middle of so many books that I don't really want to start anything else. So I'm continuing to listen to it right now with the hope of being able to transition to something else at some point, hopefully soon. But it's funny because I started this for my romance vlog that came out last week, and I stopped it because I was like 2 chapters in and I was like, this is not romancy enough. It's way more fantasy than it is romance. And so I don't really want to vlog this because I don't feel like it's like as outside of my comfort zone as it could be. I guess I should have waited, because by the time we hit about 50%, it is like very romancy. Like very, to the point where I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like I'm just not a big fan of talking about like what's happening physically, and it's not like this is not smutty, at least not so far. I really hope it doesn't become smutty, because it's a YA book, and I have a big issue with YA books that are often marketed towards teenagers. It has not been smutty yet. They've just like kissed for the first time, but to me the description of what is going on in the head is just over the top for me. But anyways, this is the story of a girl named Miyoung. She is a gumyo, which is a monster sort of in Korean mythology. It's essentially a nine-tailed fox, but they have immortality and they're able to do things. They have lots of powers and stuff. And I have watched a K-drama called Tale of the Nine-Tailed that I really loved that was all about Gumios. So it's super fun to see that explored in a YA book like this. That's what's really keeping me coming back. I read this morning a chapter of Rembrandt is in the Wind, which is a nonfiction about seeing art through the lens of faith. And I'm enjoying it. The last chapter I felt like didn't really have very much to do with faith. Had to do with Vermeer. So I feel like some of the, like as a whole, the book's not feeling like entirely cohesive. They're very different elements of faith that we see in very different works of art and artists' lives. The same author wrote another book afterwards called Van Gogh Has a Broken Heart, which is exploring like grief and sadness through art. And I feel like because that's a more cohesive theme, maybe that one might be even better and seem to fit together better. I don't know. I'm still enjoying it enough that I want to continue. I'm about halfway through that one. I also showed you that I'm reading Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. I'm only like 60 pages into that, I think. Maybe 50, somewhere in that, then the 50 to 60 range. I'm reading that for my in-person book club. This is my third Ishiguro, and I kind of have mixed feelings about him in that I don't always enjoy the journey to where we're going in his books, but yet I am interested by where he ultimately lands, and I continue thinking about his books. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one overall. It's about a girl, she's a like robot companion in a world where that's normal to get these for children, these companions to spend time with them and talk to them and all that kind of stuff. So the whole first chunk of the book is her in the store hoping that she's going to be purchased, and her kind of making a connection with a little girl that you can tell is sick. I say little girl, I think she's probably like 14. She's not little, she's a teenager. And then at the end of that section, which again is only like 50 pages, since this isn't spoilery, she is purchased by that girl's family and now she's living with them, and it's kind of that whole dynamic. So I'm really intrigued by it so far. In fact, yesterday I sat down and read like the first 40 or 50 pages in one go and really liked it. And considering I've been feeling like a bit on the slumpy end, that was really nice. I'm also occasionally reading chapters here and there of Old Herbaceous by Reginald Arkell, which is for my Patreon book club. This is a story of an old man who's a gardener who's looking back at his life and sharing reminiscences and stories with you, the reader. I'm about 20% of the way through that one, and every blurb that I read on Goodreads, on Amazon, on anywhere, compared it to P.G. Wodehouse. And I failed to find any humor at all so far in this story. So I don't really get the comparison. It's reminding me a lot more of like Goodbye Mr. Chips, but make it gardens instead of academia. I started a new bedtime read starting yesterday. I started The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. I don't even know how to describe what this book is so far, because I just started it and I'm only like, I read like the prologue and the first 2 chapters and I just got sucked right in. And so we're in this world where some people are called the gifted, and they have the ability to use this thing called the essence, and it gives them some sort of ability, but I don't know what those abilities are yet. We haven't really traversed very far into that. If you show any inclination towards being able to use the essence, you go to these magical schools where you are taught things, and then you have to go through something called the trials and prove that you can use the essence correctly and responsibly. And if you can't, then you end up being kind of like cast out in a way that causes you to be rejected, not just by the schools, but also by society. However, society is also not a very big fan of the gifted people as well. There's implications that there was some sort of war between the two of them, and they decided on a treaty, and now there are tenets or rules that the gifted have to follow everywhere they go. Otherwise, if they're in violation of that, I don't know what would happen. I don't know if they die or if it would start another war. That was 15 years ago, and we're now following a young man whose name I forgot, because I'm not very far into it, who's at this school. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. It's not too long before he goes and does his own trials, and he hasn't been able to use the essence correctly yet, so he's kind of worried about that. You get the sense
that there is more to the story, that there is some political underpinnings and things happening that you're not seeing. And I don't know where it's gonna go. It's so interesting. I'm really, really liking it so far. So I have a couple of books that are kind of feel like they're pulling me out of like the edge of a slump, which is really nice. So I'm reading a lot of books right now. As you just heard me say, I think it's typical for me to read anywhere from 3 to 5 books at one time. So for me to be reading 5 books and they're all very different is not unheard of by any means. But still, it was a lot to update you on those really quick. But I did want to share my thoughts with you. I'm definitely not going to finish any of these today unless by some chance I power through enough of the Wicked Fox audiobook, but I don't think I will while I'm cleaning. I don't think I'm going to be cleaning for that long. I think I'm only going to be cleaning for like maybe an hour. So there's a lot more in the audiobook left than that. Or if I powered through Old Herbaceous, but I don't think I'm going to do that either. And there is a plane going over right now. Why do planes come over when I'm trying to record? It's just like there have been so many cars going back and forth. We live, let me see if I can show you. We live on a street where the speed limit is like 55. So it can be kind of loud when cars go by. So I have to pause when cars go by. Although I think that this microphone helps a little bit to kind of like muffle other sounds a little bit. But anyways, that was a little aside that matters to no one except me. But I just wanted to give you a little update. Now that I'm done filming, I'm like hot and sweaty. So I'm gonna go inside, get a drink, pick an area to tackle cleaning. That probably won't take me that long. I don't know what time it is right now. It's probably like 3, maybe 3:30. I haven't looked, but I've been sitting out here for like 45 minutes. And then I was doing my other stuff before that. So yeah, so I'm gonna do that. Something that's not gonna take a super long time, so that way I can start dinner at a reasonable time. I am planning to make taco rice tonight. I'll link the recipe in the description of this video if I remember, especially if it's good. I don't know if it is. I've never made it before. It sounds really good. It's just, you know, rice with taco seasoning and stuff. But I'm also gonna make some ground beef with some taco seasoning, so that way that can go on top and we can kind of make like little burrito bowls. Although I don't have a ton of toppings, I do have some lettuce, so I guess I could do that. I bought some guacamole. We probably have shredded cheese. I didn't even think to check that, but hopefully we do. And I have like some fresh tomatoes from the garden that someone from our church brought us. So I'm the only one who likes raw tomatoes in this house. So I would be the only one who would use those. So anyways, I'll take you along with me.
So after dinner is usually prime relaxation time. I'm pretty much done usually being productive by the evening, at least that's my goal. So it's an opportunity for my daughter and I to hang out usually. So sometimes we're watching something together, sometimes she's playing a video game. In this case, I am, or sometimes we play something together. But in this case, I'm playing and she's hanging out with me. So I got this new game called Tiny Bookshop, and I have to share it with you because it is like the ultimate cozy video game for book lovers. So in this game, you do have a tiny bookshop that is on wheels that you cart behind your car. You can go to different locations and sell things, and at each location, the customers are interested in different genres of books. So you can see, I can look it up here and see what kind of books they're interested in, and each color of spine here is a different genre. So you make sure you have plenty of the type of books that they want. As you go on, you can upgrade and add more shelves so you can carry more books, sell more books, make more money, or just, whatever. You can kind of customize it however you would like. But usually I will do mostly the books that the customers at that location really, really like, and then I'll add some of the other genres too, because sometimes you can make recommendations to them in a genre they wouldn't expect, and that's always really fun. So you can decorate your bookshop. As you can see, this is my little bookshop, and the decorations actually have different abilities in addition to being cute. So you might equip a plant that makes it so you can sell more classics or more drama books or something like that. And then I also have like this little tiny espresso machine, and if that's equipped and I run it and make espresso, I can make more money from the customers because they'll buy coffee while they're there. So you can also have like different animals. Right now I have a dog and a cat. You can't see the cat because the cat's inside, and I didn't think to show you the inside. But like I said, they all have different things that will help you sell different things. So you can swap out your decorations based on the location where you are to help you sell a certain type of book. So then you can just go to that location, and the really fun part of this game is not so much like just setting up your bookshop, even though that's really fun. The really fun part is when you can give recommendations. So in this case, there's this little fisherman guy here who doesn't like the cruise ship, but when the cruise ship is here, you have more customers that are coming than normal in this location because they're coming from the cruise ship. But you'll have customers that come in and they are asking for a specific book recommendation. They'll tell you what they want, and then you can recommend a book based on that. So when you're stocking the shelves, you can only see the genre, but when they ask for a recommendation, you'll see that almost every book title that is on your shelves is an actual book in real life. And so if you are a book lover, it's easier to make recommendations. But even if you're not a book lover, like there are synopses in each of the books, so that kind of can help you make recommendations. But it is just so much fun. I'll let you see what it looks like when you give a recommendation, but that is what makes this just such a blast. I mean, plus you can pet your dog, which is awesome. So after I was done playing, I went for a little walk. Sometimes I listen to an audiobook on my walk, but more frequently I'm catching up on Voxer messages from friends, whether that's buddy reads or just chatty messages, whatever. So that's what I was doing tonight. I really didn't do very much reading in the evening. It was already time to get ready for bed after I had played video games and gone for a little walk and stuff. So I got ready for bed, and then I read before I go to sleep. So currently I'm reading The Shadow of What Was Lost, which I mentioned on my Kindle. So that was kind of the very, very last thing that I was doing. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today and kind of seeing what a normal day in the life is like for me if I'm not actually, running around like a crazy person all day. This was actually a much more relaxing day for me than my days have been lately, but it was so fun to be able to take you along with me and see the kinds of things that I do throughout my day, how I, as a reader, find time to read and what I'm working on. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.